There's a lot to watch. There's a lot going on here. We're trying to get the inside scoop on things and find the people who've seen the most and yet know the least. And I think prom king and queen at the incel ball at CPAC are together tonight to discuss how Matt Gaetz says Trump is wrong to support McCarthy. Saying this on Fox News to Laura Ingraham. And I don't know if she's buying it, but I appreciate that he's going straight for smarm face right out of the gate. It takes a lot of nerve to not wind up to that. Let's see.
Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz, who has voted
and future indictee
11 times,
if there is indeed a God,
for candidates other than McCarthy. Congressman, great to see you tonight. I love seeing you, by the way, with Congresswoman Jayapal. What were you talking about there? I love seeing that video. Any scoop you can give us? That was funny. I'm like, what are they talking about?
What's going on? Why are you talking to her? She's like all brown and stuff.
My conversations with Democrats have largely been about making sure that they don't leave the floor for dinner or fundraisers or whatnot. We need them to stay there so that the denominator in the equation on the election of a speaker allows us to have leverage to push for many of the things we've been discussing on.
Right, because like I said, you could just have some people not show up. The Democrats could quietly have 8 people or 6 people or whatever they need, wait for the vote, know what the number is, something like 8, as they're counting through, and go, okay, you guys go to dinner. But go in the snack shop, just far enough away not to vote, close enough if we need you.
The budget, on term limits, on the order of the House of Representatives. So committee assignments and chairmanships aren't bought and sold based on who's able to redistribute the most lobbyist money.
Yeah, but by who's holding you hostage in just getting your fucking job?
While the American people are often left behind in a corrupt, broken...
But if we are left behind, Kirk Cameron will be with us. I feel better about that.
System in
and Kevin Sorbo. Not too shabby.
Congress.
Yeah, I think that your point about rushing off to events with consultants or fundraisers is important. I saw there was a fundraising email sent out by Andy Biggs, who's one of the other individuals, of course, opposing McCarthy. And he sent a fundraiser out as the action was happening on the floor, saying, we blocked Kevin McCarthy from becoming Speaker of the House, but now we conservatives must lead the fight to get the leadership we deserve. Congressman Gaetz, is that the right, we love Congressman Biggs, but is that the right approach?
What other approach is there? I mean, I guess not sending the message out. Is that the deal?
Given your message about don't run out to the fundraisers.
Well, I wanted to make sure people stayed on the floor. I've sent out similar emails, and the reason is because pro-McCarthy group...
because they're raising money. It's a fundraiser.
...have actually been running robocalls in our districts.
Oh, my God. That sounds horrible.
Trying to pressure us and leverage us. So, yes, when you have...
But I thought your constituents sent you there to get rid of the old guard, and they want you there. So if they just got a robot calling them going, vote for McCarthy for Speaker, you could just go, ha, 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 ha. I sent Big Boy McForehead from Raketown to go drive him out.
Kevin McCarthy utilizing his extensive political resources to battle against House conservatives. We want the great patriots all throughout this land to go to mattgaetz.com, chip in, so that I can fight back and get a message out about the great things that we are working to achieve. And it is not the end of the world that we take a few extra days or maybe even a couple weeks to sort this out. I mean, Laura, you know this. There are some days in Congress where the only thing we vote on is the changing of the name of one post office. Now we're deciding who's second in line to the presidency. And the construct of these rules concessions functionally term the Speaker.
And yes, I am Matt Gaetz's long-lost brother. I didn't really get lost. I left because I don't need to be around him. It's gross.
Into a ceremonial position. Matter of fact, if my colleagues get what they want from McCarthy,
I was going to get a tattoo that said, never Kevin on my forehead. But then Hearn talked me out of it.
Chairman of the Freedom Caucus will actually be more important than the Speaker of the House in determining the legislation that reaches the floor.
Oh, wait a second. Wait a second. all jokes aside, somebody just said the quiet part out loud on camera. This is the whole fucking thing. This is the whole ball game, kids. Listen to this again.
Matter of fact, if my colleagues get what they want from McCarthy, the chairman of the Freedom Caucus will actually be more important than the Speaker of the House in determining the legislation that reaches the floor, how amendments are processed, and how spending occurs going forward.
Yeah,
Right. There you go. That's it. That's the whole fucking thing. That's all of it. This is all a power play to surreptitiously take away the power of the speaker and give it to themselves, even though they have no fucking mandate, even though they're a minority even in their own party. That's it. That's the whole fucking thing. The nerve of this dude. That's it, though. That's the whole thing. This is the piece.
Will actually be more important
Hold on.
in line to the presidency, and the construct of these rules concessions functionally turn the speakership into a ceremonial position. Matter of fact, if my colleagues get what they want from McCarthy, the chairman of the Freedom Caucus will actually be more important than the Speaker of the House in determining the legislation that reaches the floor, how amendments are processed, and how spending occurs going forward.
Yeah, I get what you're...
Someone explain to me how not only the speaker, but like whoever becomes a speaker, or the other guys who vote for, who are voting for McCarthy, can let this shit actually happen. And that's got to be the argument. That's got to be what the pro-McCarthy or the anti-maggot crowd, which is 201 to 214 votes depending. Yeah, seriously, CSL. Those guys have to be having this conversation. What they're asking for is to turn the speaker into a marionette and insist on being handed the strings. That's it. I mean, that's the whole ball game right there. Boop. Yeah, great. I'm going to save that moment. Make a little, I got to make a stream marker or something like that. Somebody clip that, because that's the thing. Holy shit. The nerve of this motherfucker.
You know, on the establishment issues, I'm totally with you, okay? But
yeah, establishment, deep state, the Illuminati, things, the people who work there have been there for too long. And we don't even know who these people are, even though I have them on my show.
I'm always also about the art of the possible. What's possible here? So...
Huh?
You did get a number of concessions that I'm not sure if I were on the other side I would have given you, but...
Right. Because of what he just fucking said. Jesus Christ.
A number of concessions...
I'm fairly certain, if I may, ma'am. I think I'm the only person pointing this particular thing out. In all the coverage I've been checking in on in the last 4 days, nobody's brought up the point that what they're effectively bargaining with the speaker to have is complete micromanagement power over the speaker by a minority of the party. And if they don't get it, no one is fucking speaker. Which is, if anybody would agree to that shit, they're fucking insane.
Sessions from McCarthy, an attempt to get, to 218. So he lowered the threshold of the votes required to begin the process of removing himself as speaker. Just one person, one member of the conference can do it now.
Yes, it's nuts.
He also agreed to keep his own PAC out of GOP primaries and also to add more Freedom Caucus members to the House Rules Committee. And I understand he also signed on to a separate approval process for earmarks and allowed floor votes on term limits for members in specific border policy legislation. What else do you require?
What else do you require to make yourself the speaker?
That he do or agree to before Matt Gaetz will say, okay, I'm on board?
I wouldn't be betting on my vote for Kevin McCarthy under almost any circumstance. But it's important to note that all of those bullet points you just presented.
Wait, hold on. Wait, that's personal then. You just made this very principled point. No. You can't have it both ways. You can't say,
What are you talking about? You can't have it on both ways. You're a host on Fox. He's a guest on Fox. That's practically the mission statement at that dump. You out of your fucking mind?
I'm a man of principle, and I believe in X, Y,
Yeah, that is true, though. She is a man of principle. I will give her that.
and Z. But if he gives me X, Y, and Z, I'm not going to vote for him. What?
Well,
How does that make sense?
Because they don't trust him to actually keep his word to not.
Here's how it makes sense, Laura. Kevin McCarthy is the masthead of the lobby corps. And I resent the extent to which Kevin McCarthy utilizes the lobbyists and the special interests to be able to dictate how political decisions are made, how policy decisions are made, and how.
Again, this is like populist claptrap about doled out money, none of which he is getting because of his incoming indictment.
Leadership decisions are made. Kevin McCarthy has been in the leadership for 14 years, and he has sold shares of himself to special interests, to political action.
And by the way, this is nonsense at a certain point. Like, again, to do what? Be the minority leader?
And so that's why
Thank you,
I don't
Andrea.
think he is an appropriate choice. He also
So why
has
is
no
Trump for him?
ideology. What's that?
Why is Trump? Why? I mean, you are very close.
Well, because Trump's an idiot. Oh, yeah, you want another reason, a Fox Ready reason.
Oh, I mean, look,
President
I love
Trump.
yes, I.
So
I
why
take
is why is Trump for him? I mean, how many
I love President Trump. I'm like a nester to him. But
how many posts on Truth Social can we see from President Trump telling y'all, okay, this has been fun, but let's wrap it up here?
Well, I love
he
President
wrong?
Trump. I love President Trump. I defended him a great deal in Congress, but
which was a mistake.
HR wasn't always his strong suit. You know, President Trump got us folks like Jeff Sessions and Bill Barr and Jim Mattis and Mark Esper, people who didn't always advance America First policy. So,
Wait a minute. Are you saying they weren't the best people?
I think
So
Trump
you say
has
he's
the
wrong
vision.
on this?
I do. I think
Yes, he is a terrible judge of peoples.
President Trump is wrong to the extent that he supports Kevin McCarthy. I'm going to support President Trump when he runs for re-election in 2024.
He is running currently, I guess is the point, but they don't think it'll last.
But I'm not going to back him on this play. So, look, if we are able to get these rules
Are you going to be
changes,
okay,
it will be
Congressman?
better.
Will you be okay then if there's ultimately a deal struck with moderate Democrats that give Democrats kind of co-control of the committees? You're fine with that?
No, absolutely not. That will not happen. There are two
Well, that
potential
could happen.
scenarios here. No, listen, I'm on the floor, Laura. These 212 Democrats are going to vote for Hakeem Jeffries every single time. He is a historic candidate for them. They are not going to cleave off under any circumstance.
Sure they could. They could literally do it on purpose. As a matter of fact, Hakeem Jeffries could go, in consultation with my esteemed colleagues and to move this process forward in the name of good faith, since they do have the majority, I tether my vote to Kevin McCarthy, and I have allowed 6 of my fellow Democrats, a number of, he wouldn't say the number because then that would switch the 20 back over. A number of my fellow Democrats, we have spoken, and they are willing to join me in this in the process of moving things forward. Fucking, they could do it in a heartbeat. It would be it'd be a lightning bolt, and McCarthy would owe the speakership to the Democrats and never have reached 218.
I assure you that if Democrats join up to elect a moderate Republican, I will resign from the House of Representatives. That is how.
Yeah, that's I gotta say I don't know if you know shit about motivating people, because that might have sold me on it. That might have sold me on the entire ploy at this point. I might have been on the fence about whether it would work or not, but it would be worth it just for that.
Certain I am. I can assure
Oh, by the way, no, he won't.
your viewers that won't happen.
Are you
So
for
there are two
Scalise? Is
Hold
Steve
on, hold-
Scalise okay for you or
There-
no? Steve
there are
Scalise,
two-
no?
Well, that depends on if he would accept these rules that we've spent a lot of time on. So we'd have to
If he would accept being speaker but not being speaker and letting me and Lauren Boebert be speaker
have that discussion with
Andy Biggs.
Steve Scalise. So far, Steve Scalise hasn't indicated that he would run. I would far prefer Jim
Right.
Jordan. And if Kevin
Well, but
McCarthy pulls out of
you
the
don't
race,
have the votes
I
for
do
Jim
expect
Jordan. Yeah.
I do expect Jim Jordan
don't
to
have the
mount a
votes for him.
campaign. Oh, well, he isn't running yet. If Kevin McCarthy got out of this race and Jim Jordan would get
Yeah.
into it, that's my belief, and I believe Jim Jordan would win. I think
No, he would have fewer votes than McCarthy.
I think he would invigorate our movement. I think he's
He'd take off his pants and jacket.
broadly trusted in every corner of the Republican Party and with a lot of our donors and supporters and activists.
Oh, good. The donors and support. Even how is he with the lobbyists? It's going to be important doling out that money
That's
later.
the type of option if Kevin McCarthy bows out. If Kevin McCarthy doesn't bow out, then he will have to live the entirety of his speakership in a straitjacket constructed by these rules that we're working on now.
And again, there it is again. Whoever it is, no matter who they are, even if it was fucking Jim Jordan, they will have to wear a straitjacket. Oh my gosh. Shadow Woman, that's incredible. Thank you so much. That's just,
So you prefer a speaker with a straitjacket than one who you believe is just a spenderama, right?
Well, I prefer a straitjacket if
makes
it's
sense.
Kevin McCarthy. If it was a Jim Jordan, we certainly wouldn't need that because we trust Jim Jordan. We have zero trust in Kevin McCarthy, and there's just a large body of work to evaluate. His continuous voting for big spending bills, his support of amnesty in the past, his refusal to join us in trying to break up big tech.
Well, that's most Republicans.
break up big tech. He won't join us in breaking up big tech. He won't join us in attacking American companies that are not monolithic.
This is someone whose like compass is like a wet finger in the wind.
All right, Congressman Gaetz, we're going to be watching this very closely tomorrow. We can't wait to see what happens next. Thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Hey, Sean Hannity here.
Oh, just a hell of their own making. You're watching Hal Sparks, Mega Worldwide, and I think that shows taste and breeding on your part.